say, you know something, this person, the case mean from out. Do you think it's a joke? This is an ass. This is an ass who, at least as we speak, this is an ass who, at least you and I, he has connections than you and I. You saw the way they treated an ass in court. They looked at his face and said, "You're a terrorist." Now, what will show me? It does not matter whether you are MPP or NDC. We are talking about a judiciary that we need to protect. Kennedy Agyapong sat on national television to tell us all that a judge, he threatened a judge, and he threatened a judge. You are a foolish judge. You are a stupid judge. You see what I will do to you. Kennedy Agyapong today wants to be president of Ghana. He was a mere member of parliament. He threatened the judge on national television. We have judges in Ghana, emotional judges, political judges. We have given them the power. Without us giving them the nod, majority of them will be homeless. The power the constitution gave us through our members of parliament endorsed some of these judges to sit in the Supreme Court, to sit in our High Court, to sit in our circuit courts. But when we give them that authority to be just, to make sure that the law works for everyone, they take sides. Some of them. For years, you people know that we've had issues with the judiciary. There are cases in the Supreme Court that had sat there for months. Serious national issues. Madam Tokonu ignores. Afenyomakin leaves the Parliament House. Within 2 hours, Madam Tokonu calls the case. You think it's a joke? All because Afenyomakin say, until one arm of government. Let me tell you, the 3 arms of government are independent. And legislature is most important in the 3 arms of government. I'm telling you. Because through the legislature, the president can be kicked out. Through the legislature, the chief justice can be kicked out. So you don't underestimate the legislature. One person walks out of the legislature, walks to the Supreme Court, goes to the chief justice and say, "My love, please undermine the legislature and give me what I want." No. That is not how you build a nation. That is not how you put a nation together. When you do that, you undermine the fundamental principles that binds a nation together. And you might not see it physically. Slowly, it creeps into the democracy of the nation. It kills the democracy. It's like slow poison. It destroys the fabric. That thing that holds us. So long Ghanaians or ordinary Ghanaians don't have justice when they go to our court. And you can testify to that. That at a point, you did not even want to go to court because you were not going to get justice. This is how bad Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the MPP. This is how bad they sank our judiciary. People who had experience, who were supposed to be looked at and given positions to lead in the judiciary, to lead in the Supreme Court, they were overlooked because people had their own ambitions. They had their own diabolic ideas, what they wanted to use the power for, and that is what Akufo-Addo did. What we are seeing today against our judiciary, in our judiciary, and all that we are seeing, the fault is the NPP Akufo-Addo leadership, because they were able to infiltrate, they were able to force our the Supreme Court to be like a circuit court. The respect the Supreme Court had, the respect that the Supreme Court yielded years back, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo reduced it because he took control. He politicized the Supreme Court. We have a member of parliament, somebody who contested on the ticket of a sitting government, NPP, moved to the Supreme Court. At least he could be qualified. He may be qualified. He may have everything, but at least more NPP for na mo kase emran da ho na nka osem hama. At least emran wo krampo no anka onye dey on change na adwene no. At least Akufo-Addo could have said then wait your MPP ni somebody go Supreme Court, it will be too much of chaos. This is how bad, this is how they destroyed this nation. You have no idea. People were using the Supreme Court as their personal property. Afenyomakin walks to the Supreme Court. Even the suit that he puts before Ghanaians, it looks shitty and shady, like a lot of grammatical and inconsistencies, because some people's idea is push it through. Now, is this the court you and I want to trust? No, we need to reset the system. At a point, the court became personal issues. It became family property. The country was being destroyed. We were lucky that we came together to vote against the NPP. Look at the Electoral Commission. The Electoral Commission was taking an action that was wrong. The Chief Justice takes document and says, I am not here, so nobody is going to give date. We were all screaming, the Electoral Commission should not take this registration to district offices, and that every polling station should have the right. We should have access to polling stations for registration. Madam Tokonu knew, connived with the EC boss and said, no, I am going to give a date after the EC had taken the action. How do you call this a judiciary that has integrity? How do you sit back and see this as a normal thing? This isn't. There are so many inconsistencies in the actions of the Chief Justice. And let us stop hiding behind somebody is touching our democracy, somebody is touching a woman. It is about the protection of the democracy, making sure things are done right. So it is not about an individual, it is not about a woman, it is not about somebody's personal decision. It is about resetting the system to make sure that the belief that we have in our judiciary, that belief is something we can hold on to. And that is what I see the acting CJ trying to do. Recorrecting, resetting, making sure we have some belief in our court system. When you lose the trust in the Supreme Court in any country, that country, the beginning of the end of that country starts from the day we lose the trust in our judiciary. This is what we talked about. This is what we are talking about. It is not hatred. It is not about a political party. It's about making sure the right things are done. And people at the end of the day understand that if they are given positions, they need to understand that they need to give respect to that position, and also make sure that they deliver. They do not become partisan. They did not become, especially the judiciary, they do not become biased towards anybody. See the partnership, the friendship, the harmony the Chief Justice had with Afenyomakin. See the disrespect the Chief Justice disrespected the legislature, the Speaker of Parliament. How this Afenyomakin wanted to drag the legislature in mud, and how the Chief Justice wholeheartedly wanted or helped Afenyomakin to deliberately disrespect the legislature. It is not right. It is never right. See how Ekufuado infiltrated the Ghana Bar Association. The Ghana Bar Association, it became a waiting room for Ekufuado. He goes there to sell his political message. In the history of the Republic, since the Ghana Bar Association was put together, there's been no precedent. Majority of the president or any president that went to the Ghana Bar Association event basically stood in the middle of the conversation. But another Danko Ekufuado, that is where he went to cook his political, with all due respect, shit. He cooked it there, and we got lawyers clapping, cheering, because politics had infiltrated the Ghana Bar Association. That is the pain. That is what we are looking at. That is the glass that we are looking through. It is not about Tokonu. With all due respect, she's one person. There are other judges in Ghana like Tokonu who are smarter than Tokonu. So if Tokonu is not there, can't we get another woman? But it's not about her. It is not about her as a woman. It is not about her as an individual. It is about the institution that we all want to protect. And let us be honest here. Who has sacked Tokonu? She has not been sacked. Process needs to work. Now, let me show you something. You see, we woke up and we saw this. Political parties are joining MPP. They want to go out and demonstrate. Demonstrate against what? LPG, liquefied petroleum gas, NDP, non-entity distress party, PNP, profane non-entity patriots, and GUM, gullible, unreasonable merchants. And all these parties have come together to join the NPP to do what? They have come together to protest. LPG, NDP, PNP, and GUM join NPP to demonstrate against the suspension of Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu. The suspension. So it means Madam Tokonu has not been sacked. She has been suspended. Does the Constitution give the president right to suspend the Chief Justice? Yes. So what is the demonstration about? So Madam Tokonu cannot be suspended as the Chief Justice. Today I saw some news item. Some newspaper be editor. I don't know a newspaper. Some newspaper like that is not relevant. The first time a Chief Justice is being suspended. And I'm saying, the first time Charlotte Osei was sacked as the EC boss was the first time a woman who held the EC boss or an EC boss in Ghana was sacked. Did Ghana die? And you know the shocking thing about people saying that the Chief Justice being a woman and the first time a Chief Justice being suspended is crazy. They have forgotten that this is the first time a former president has won elections in Ghana. They have forgotten. There's always a first time to everything. The people